worship your holy name.
My name is Tony De La Rosa. For those that don't know me, I'm going to give a testimony of how the Lord has changed my life around. First of all, I come from a family of 7, 4 sisters, 3 brothers. Grew up in a Christian family. As a young boy growing up, never wanted to listen to my dad. My dad always gave me good advices, but at that age we think we know it all, and what we do in our lives is the best way. At about 14, 13 years old, I was already hanging in the streets, running the streets, hanging out with the friends, doing drugs already. Started smoking marijuana at a young age. My parents didn't know who I was hanging out with. I would always come home kind of late, and they would always ask me where you at, playing with the friends, but didn't know what I was getting into. About at the age of 15, my dad finally got fed up with me, not want to do it, his way. It was my way. So my dad told me, you know what, there's a door. So I chose the streets, and at that time, I thought I was doing the right choice. I started hanging out with the street gang. I thought, that was my family. Since my dad didn't show me love, I thought was not love. So I made a choice, started running with the street gang. At that time, it was all fun and games, which I thought it was. Things started getting a little different on me as I started growing up. I was in the streets, not coming home no more. Didn't know where I was going after that. I thought I had friends, so we started doing criminal crimes, just taking things that didn't belong to us, doing things that, at a young age, never thought a boy would do, right? Because in that gang, there was older guys than me, and we were getting, our minds were getting twisted up at the time by them. They were showing us what to do, what not to do, but we thought they were role models, so whatever they did, we thought it was good, Ran with the gang for a while, and then finally, I was in the streets about 3 years. Finally, them lonely nights started coming in at me. When I started getting in trouble, the law started looking for me. I was on the run from the law. Friends didn't have my back like I thought they had my back. That's where reality set. Didn't have a home to go to because Dad kicked me out at a young age. Friends didn't open the door for me, not even a window to sleep at night with a blanket or a pillow. I was sleeping in back seats of a car. My friend of mine told me, you can go sleep in my dad's old beat-up car in the back seat, and just like that. So my family didn't know how I was living my life. My sisters didn't know. I have 3 older sisters than me and 2 older brothers. And my mom didn't know. The day my dad kicked me out, my mom didn't say nothing. She just put her head down. Those days where basically a woman can't say nothing. The man, what he said, that was it. So, of course, I was missing my mom. I was missing my family, but I thought by me making the right choice, I'm gonna stay in the streets and try to be strong at a young age. I remember some nights where I was so hungry, and back then they had a bunch of 7-Eleven stop and goes. What I would do, I would walk in the store. I probably had about a few dollars in my pocket. I would go buy maybe a water, a Coke. But as soon as the clerk turned his vision on me, I would stick some of them hot dog winnies in my belt, inside my pants. I walked around for a little bit, make it seem like I was gonna buy something, but then I just grabbed a Coke, like I said, or water. Enough just to pay what I had in my pocket. During the meantime in the store, the hot dog wings were burning my waist bad, and I was just trying to hurry up and get out of there, So I hurried up and paid for my drink, went around the corner and just started eating. I did that for about, I want to say about 3 months. Where my buddies at? They didn't have no buddies, no gang buddies. Is that? So then things started getting worse for me in the streets. I started growing up and met other people. Started doing crazy more crimes, outrageous crimes. So then now I'm catching myself at the age of 17 on my way to prison. I'm sitting in the county jail. I'm facing 3 conservative sentence for 3 different crimes. 6-year sentence for one, 6-year sentence for another one, and 6 for another one. So I'm 17. I turned 18 in the county jail. My mom comes and visits me. She tells me, "What have you done with your life?" I said, "Nothing, Mom." I blame it on my dad. My dad kicked me out. It's all Dad's fault. Yes, I thought it was my dad's fault at the moment. So in the county jail, they're trying to give me that time, and to me, it's a lot of time. 17 years old. 3 months later, I'm turning 18 years old. So now I'm on my way to prison now. Well, I told myself, you know what, I'm not going to sign for that time. The district attorney told me, you know what, if you don't sign for them 6 years, we'll give you 6 years right now. If not, we're going to go ahead and stack them. You're going to do 6 years. When you're done with them 6 years, you're going to do another 6 years. And then you're going to do the other 6 years. I was young. They put fear in my heart. I said, well, come on with it. I signed for the time. I remember in the courtroom, I signed for my time. My mom and one of my sisters had took her to court. I turned around and I see my mom. She was in tears, crying. That really broke my heart. So I go back to the back of the courtroom where they house you at, and I'm thinking tears want to come out, but I'm trying to show, I'm a man back there, because there's plenty of men back there. I'm trying to hold my tears back. So I stayed in the county for about almost 7 months, 6 months. They finally pulled me to prison. I'm on my way to prison at a young age. I hear a lot of things about prison. I had my older brother's been there before. He did a lot of time before. He always told me, Tony, don't ever come to these places. I told my brother, nah, I ain't never gonna be like you when I visit him. Next thing you know, I'm on my way. Literally being like my brother. So I'm on my way to prison. I get to prison. As soon as I get there, I did about 3 weeks in the holding tanks till the process gets done. I get all my necessaries, toothpaste, toothbrush, comb, all that they give you in there. And then I finally get my mattress. A little mattress, just like a bunk bed size, about that thick, some of that thick because they're so old, already worn out. I get there. As soon as I walk in, it's like a dormitory, probably about 27 inmates sleeping there. And then so on, another 27 this way, another 27 that way. I get approached by 2 young black men, about my age. And they tell me, say, man, we want your mattress. And I have it on my shoulder, right? It's first time, terrified, heart's trying to jump on my chest. So I tell them, as soon as I get done with it, you can have it. I guess one of them didn't like my answer. So he just hits me from the back, as they call it in there, he steals me, right? Boom, I hit the ground, get up, start swinging. As I'm fighting that one individual, the other one jumps in. The other one jumps in, so now I got 2 on me. But then all of a sudden I seen a Mexican jump in, right? And then I seen another one jump in, then I seen another black guy jump in, then it's starting to be like a racial fight now, right? So the guards get in there, right? They split it apart. They start investigating what happened. They start talking to me. I let them know what happened. So then the Mexican guys pulled me to the side. They started talking to me. They're like, hey, man, where you from, man? From Houston, man. What part of town? We started talking. One of them knew my brother from the world. As we call it, end of the world because you like thug, right? They call it the free world outside. They started talking to me. Like, hey, man, you got some heart, man. We seen you. You got down, this and this and that. So I'm thinking, all right, cool, I got some friends now. So I'm in prison now, thinking I got some friends like I did when I was in the streets at a young age. But it all came down to where they were not just friends, it was like little, I want to say like a prison game, but they don't call it a prison game, they call themselves an organization in there. So, you know, we started talking, started getting along, you know, things started getting deeper. They started, you know, telling me how things run in there, how, you know, you stay on this side and blacks over there, the whites over here, and, you know, that's how it is in there. So I'm cool with that. So I still got that street mentality as a young age, you know, running the streets, doing wild things, and well, I'm thinking, well, you know, I have to prove myself. You know, I'm going in there fighting, you know, bigger dudes than me, and fighting, and you know, they introduced me to the shanks, you know, how to hurt people in there and stuff like that. So I'm with that, you know. Okay, cool. So then finally at the time, I've been there probably about 8 months already, you know. So they started telling me, look, man, this is who we are. They started telling me their name. Woo, I said, okay, cool. I kind of liked the idea. They showed me love in there, which I thought it was love at the time. My parents didn't ever send me no money because they didn't have no money to send me. They did. They had their own business, their own bills to pay. I was not their problem no more because I got myself in there. So, you know, they bought me things, showed me love, you know. And I'm thinking, man, you know, I got some cool friends in there. One of them knows my brother from the world, you know. So, come to think about it later on, you know, I joined the prison gang. Now I'm getting myself in situations where it's deep, you know, for me, not knowing at a young age. I'm about 19 years old, about to be 20. I get involved with this prison gang and things are getting crazy for me, not knowing that I'm getting myself in deeper situations. I started doing things for them, crazy things. I started moving up. First I was just like, you know, like do the dirty work, in other words. They didn't like this one individual, say they sent me and 5 other guys, and that's how you know, climb the ladder. So, all right, cool, but no problem. I started getting deeper into it. I started seeing how people with rank had respect in there. And I'm like, man, I want to be one of them mentally. So at that time, I'm not just a friend now. They call themselves carnales, you know, they're brothers, because it's a family. So I tell one of the carnales in there, I say, hey, carnal, I want to be like that, man. What I got to do? He's like, no, you don't. No, you don't. See how I do. They're like, well, we know you got the heart, carnal, but that's not for you, man. So well, I want to prove myself. So he's like, all right, you want to prove yourself? Yeah. So he said, well, this is what you got to do. He laid it out on me. You know what I'm saying? It's something that I was like, oh, that's all I got to do. But it was something big. And to me, it was like, I'm used to it. Streets, young age. So I'm like, all right. I did my job. And I remember doing that job for them. That gave me extended time. I was supposed to come home in 3 years. I ended up doing 6 years straight because of my job I did. I got locked up, went in solitary for about almost a year, investigating me. The man almost lost his life. And to me, it was like a joke. To me, taking another man's life in there, it was like an everyday thing. It was like a game, fun. Like adrenaline went through your heart, you know, just, I'm ready again. Literally didn't know that I was just headed for disaster, man. So things got deeper and deeper. I did more jobs for them in there. I started picking up on rank. Started as a prosper. Started then, went as a jump from a sergeant, then to a lieutenant. I stayed as a lieutenant for a while. At that time as a lieutenant, I had 150 guys under me. All I had to say, hey, take care of your business. They'll do it. At the moment, I felt like God, power. I mean, serious power. that there was one time when I got not at the chow hall, they call it the chow hall, the kitchen where you go eat. There was an individual just staring us down. We rolled like about 7 or 8 with me at the same time. Those were all my hitmans. He was staring us down when he told me, hey, Carnal, that guy's staring at me, man. Can I go stab him? I looked at him, I said, Carnal, man, just chill out. That's how the drilling was in there, just like a fun and game. Just go stab people, take their life like it's nothing. I said, no, don't worry about it, man. He ain't staring at us, which he probably was. But that's how your mentality gets in there, how they teach you to be brutal. Don't worry about the next man, because if you have love for that man while you're doing what you're doing, he can take your life. And they teach you to take other people's life to survive in there. So then, my time was coming up to come home. You know, but during the time while I was in prison, my parents would go visit me, and you know, in there you're allowed to wear one watch, one ring, one chain, and the family in there, my carnales were, you know, feeding me, here's a watch, bro, here's a ring, you know, and I was dressed looking good, but on my whites, you know, which I thought I was fly, as they call it. My mom and dad would go visit me. They're like, where'd you get all this? All friends, they left. They went home. They left it behind. And, you know, here you go, Tony, you know, do this and that. So it went on like that. Lying to my parents. They never knew what I was involved in. So once I picked up rank, I started picking up more soldados. You know, it started getting deeper. Soldados mean soldiers, right? And I had more power. We started picking up power in there. It's not just in one prison, they're in every prison, all over. So then I was about to start leaving about another 6 months. And one of the carnales was asking me, hey, Carnal, is there anything you want me to do before you go? I want you to be proud of me, I want you to give me some rank. I said, no, there's nothing you can do for me, bro, because I'm on my way home, man. So there was a few things that had to be taken care of before I left, but they didn't want me to get in trouble no more. They wanted me to go home. They had plans for me outside. They said, well, let Tony go, somebody else is going to take care of him. My time came up. I come home. Things got worse for me. They started using me to do crimes out here. But the thing about it was they started using me to do organized crimes because of my mentality. You know, they knew once I came out, I had 200 guys under me all over the north side, Pasadena. I mean, everywhere you name it, they were everywhere, Galveston too. They would have to report to me. So once we started doing crime, I started calling my carnales up. Hey, we're gonna do this, you're gonna do that, you and you, y'all go over there, and boom, we started making money. We have to make money for the ones that are incarcerated to keep them surviving there. We send them money, we send them whatever they need. Their family needs money, take care of their family, so on, so on. I didn't realize how deep I was getting into that. Till finally, I started getting introduced to the dope game. I started selling dope, drugs, any narcotics you can think of, from pills to herb, anything. It crossed my hands. If it made me money, I was going to grab it and make money, flip it, as they say. I remember I started small, a few ounces here, 8 balls, a few half a pounds here and there. About 4 months later, same mentality, you know, I want to be big, I want to be like him. I seen cars, nice red, nice paint jobs, man, that's me, I want to be like that. So I never stood still. Started getting involved with some people in Mexico. We took a ride over there, and things got more exciting to me. They started sending us 300 pounds a week, a couple of kilos of cocaine, and it was like, wow. In my mind, I started thinking of that movie Scarface. I'm like, man, I'm gonna make it big like him, you know? And, you know, I'll tell y'all right now, brothers, you know, so some of these movies do, you know, they do pump you up, man, you know, and people want to be like that, but it's just Hollywood, you know, but when you're in the streets, you don't think about Hollywood, you think about that fame and money and power. So we started moving 300 pounds of weed. It went up to 500 pounds of weed, sometimes 1,000 pounds of weed. We started going up north, no more in Houston, all over north, you name it, we was out there. Then we started moving the kilos, started getting deep, more money. I mean, serious money. At that time, I was moving so fast, I stopped working for about 6 years, just depending on the dope money. Was making good money at the time. Started buying me rides. I had 7 rides at one time. I had plenty of money. My friends had plenty of stuff, you know. I had a bunch of friends now, you know. And we started going clubbing. I paid for everything. Every night I would spend at least $2,500 to $3,000. I paid for everything, all the drinks, for everybody, you know, paid to get in, whatever, VIP and all that. I started accumulating friends I didn't even know. Didn't even know from nowhere. And hey, Tony, what's up, man? What's that, man? Oh, come down, don't worry about it. Huh? Didn't worry about it. And then they see, you know, it was a crowd, an entourage, about 20 was at the club. Then more friends I didn't even know. You know, once everything's free, you start getting friends, you know, hey. So, there was a few times where I noticed my lifestyle. My lifestyle was moving too fast, but at the same time I was going through some things. I remember a few times where I had sent some pounds up north. They fell down, driver got busted. They came knocking on my door. Tony, we want that money, we need that money, man. I was like, I ain't got the money, man, but here's the keys to that car. You can take what you want, you know, or that truck, or this car, whatever. Like, oh, we'll take that one. Okay, cool. They were happy. I was happy. Didn't have to worry about anybody coming knocking on my door, just trying to bum rush my house because I didn't pay up. At that time, I noticed things were going wrong for me. A buddy of mine from Atlanta, Georgia, came by, picked up something big. He got put on in Louisiana. And the word was, when he got pulled over in Louisiana, he didn't get locked up there. From Louisiana, they followed him to Atlanta with the merchandise. They called me. I get a call from over there, right? Like, hey, Tony, you heard about Big Boy? I said, Big Boy, what happened to him? I said, man, he made it, man, but when he called his people, NARS came, arrested everybody from Louisiana to Atlanta. So I'm thinking, you serious, man? And yeah. Now I'm sleeping, thinking back in my mind, now they're going to backtrack your connection in Houston. I put surveillance all over my house. I had 8 cameras. I could spot you from anywhere. Come, stop signs down the street, behind my house, everywhere I had surveillance. I would sleep with a 9mm every night. Right? Paranoid, but not on drugs. Just paranoid that the cops were going to come down and kick my door. But during that time, when I noticed my life was going for a little disaster, but I still didn't pay attention to that. I was more caught up with the money, the fame, you know, women and stuff like that. I ran into a female. We started becoming friends. We started hanging out. We moved in together about 6-8 months later. We lived about 1.5 years together. We finally got married. So this female friend of mine became my wife at the moment. At that time, she was my wife. But I didn't know she was strung out on pills bad. All the money I was making, I was putting it up. Never used a bank. I always had the money stashed somewhere, not in my house either. Some of it was. I noticed some of my money came up missing. Then I noticed some of the drugs were missing. She was not hooked on drugs, she was trained in drugs for the pills. She was hooked on pills bad. And when I say she was hooked on pills bad, she was spending at least $1,500 a week on pills. And I wasn't noticing that. So things started getting bad, right? And I was on the move, you know. People that been in my shoes know what I'm talking about. You're on the move when you're in the dope game, when you got things, you know, you in and out, busy, boom, boom, phone ringing off the wall, you know, making money all day long. Sometimes all night long and day long. Sometimes I'll be coming home, me and my wife at the time, we start arguing. I didn't know why we were arguing. It was because she was out of her pills. One time she confessed to me that she was hooked on them, but not as bad. She was just trying to find me something. You got friends, you got connections, just find me these kind of pills, I need them. Just find me 3. So I'm thinking 3. Oh, it's okay, cool, you know. I don't think she was hooked on them. I found her 3. They brought them to me and said, here you go. After that, she was calm, relaxed, like, I mean, you know, she was just in la la land, like, just left me alone. I didn't notice how things were getting out of hand with my marriage. There was times where we would argue bad, I mean bad. You know, this woman had everything she wanted in the world. And I'm like, what am I doing wrong? But never knew that she was hooked on pills. I was in love with this woman with all my heart. And I never seen her with my eyes do anything wrong, even though she was doing something wrong. To me, it was okay, because I was in love with her. There came a time where how bad things were. My light bill came in, I didn't even know. I would give her the money, pay the light bill, the gas bill, the water, all the bills, the rent, everything, whatever it was. My light got cut off. I'm like, man, why might the light get cut off? She's like, well, I paid it. I don't know what was going on, you know, and there's this and that. Give me a big story. I would call the light company. The light company said the last bill we got was last month's and so on day. And she said, well, them people are lying because I did send. I said, where's the receipt to the money order, this, and that? They never had proof. So I go personally myself, go pay my light bill. 2 days later, my water gets cut off. Same routine. I paid it. I did, I promise, I got this, I got that. So, well, where's the receipts at? I can't find them. Okay, cool, I paid it. Then next you know, the gas gets cut off. It started going down like that. Everything was getting cut off. What she was doing, she was pocketing the money, buying her pills. The payments to the vehicles at the time, they were calling, they were going to get repo. I'm like, I thought you paid them. She's like, I did, I promise. So I would call the car lot, same routine. So at that time, she was getting out of hand so bad that she was not coming home no more. She would get on, back then I guess, I'm not too good with the names, probably MySpace or whatever it was back then, and all the little chat things, she would get online and start talking to men. I didn't know that, and she met a few men online, and she would meet them somewhere and behind my back, because I was in and out the house. She was not coming home no more. I see my marriage going down the drain, so I'm the type of man that always try to fight for my marriage no matter what. When she wasn't coming home no more, I had a theory already that she was already seeing somebody. But she kept saying, no, it's nobody. No, I'm in my grandma's house, I'm in my aunt's house. Me and you argued too much, this and that. Things started, I mean, it just started getting bad. I was so in love with this woman that I forgave her so many times. So she left me for maybe about a month. She'll come back to me crying, I'm sorry, I love you, I miss my husband. Them words sinked in my head and touched my heart, and I forgave her. I said, well, we can start all over, you know, that's not a problem. When things started getting out of hand in my relationship, when I started finding texts on her phone, never went to her phone because I'm not like that. But then all of a sudden you see a text popped out, you see a guy's name on there, you know, I would question her. No, just like the bills. No, I paid, whatever, you know. So there was one time too when she told me she was pregnant, and you could see a little belly on her. She was real petite, had a belly on her. The belly started growing. I'm like, all right. She said, I'm going to the doctor. I mean, just like a regular routine pregnancy, you know. Come to find out about 8 months ago. After that, 8 months later, you know, she gave some church I was attending to, because I always went to church every Sunday, no matter what I've been through, what I did in my life. I always went to church because that's what my parents taught me at a young age. As a boy, a little kid, I remember going to church and I thought Sundays was the boring days of my life as a kid. In the dope game, in the prison game, doing the things I was doing, I still went to church every Sunday, no matter what. So we was attending the church, and when she told me that she was pregnant, everybody was so excited for her. She even said they were going to be twins. Well, time went by, and she had told a few ladies from the church, I'm going to be at this hospital having the babies. And, okay, a lot of ladies from the church, like they are right now, they unite, they're real cool, so they support you, you know, the way it's supposed to be. So they told her, well, we'd be there at Memorial Hospital on Gessner 610, or Ella 16, should I say. So, okay, well, we'd be there. So that day came, she was nowhere in that hospital. My little sister was calling me, Tony, what's her name at, we're here, there's like 6 sisters from church. So I'm calling her, she's not answering the phone, and that was an everyday thing, she never answered the phone. Whatever she was doing, I don't know, only the Lord knows. She finally answered out of 10 calls. Where you at? I said, I'm at this hospital over here by Shepherd. They moved me because the kids, something happened. So I said, what hospital, what room? My sister's over there at Memorial Hospital, like you said, with other ladies from church. Well, I'm over here, I'm in the emergency room, this, that. But I said, well, if you was at a hospital, if something happened, why would they transfer you to another hospital? And she gave me a runaround, so I told her, well, just give me the hospital's name. Everybody's going to go over there. She gave me the hospital name. They went over there. Nowhere to be found. All this time, she lied about her pregnancy. She was not pregnant all the time. Not that I was illiterate, but I never had time to investigate and tell her, well, okay, why you don't do this, why you don't do that, and why? Everything seemed like she was at the time. Started getting a belly, like I said. You know, she started getting a little sickness, so I'm thinking, yeah, she is pregnant, you know. And come to find out that she said that she had a miscarriage and they sucked the babies out with the vacuum. I'm like, no. Right there, literally, I lost my mind. I wasn't thinking about the dope game. I wasn't thinking about my carnales no more. I was devastated. Why would she pull something on me like that if we was in love? Things got worse and worse. She was still hooked on pills. I forgave her for that pregnancy, that fake pregnancy. I forgave her for that. When I say she wasn't coming home, now she wasn't coming home, but now she was coming home with hickeys on her neck. And at that time, I couldn't tolerate it no more because I was so in love with this woman. And the only thing was on my mind was to take my own life. I had a 9mm stuck to my head that moment. I was by myself. She had left me again. She was gone for about 4 months. I knew she was living with somebody now. So I was going to take my life. I was sitting in my bed and I remember the perfect picture like it was just yesterday. I started staring at my surveillance. My camera's on the wall right here. And then I looked down and I had like a little stool table in front of me. I'm at the edge of my bed. I got my gun on the bed right here. I started looking at my surveillance again, hoping she might pull up. How madly in love I was with her, hoping she would pull up and I wouldn't have to do what I was going to do. Never pulled up. I grabbed the gun, I looked at my table and I cocked the gun again. I looked at the cameras, grabbed my gun, cocked my gun. I got it in my head right now. So I'm thinking, there's nothing to live for no. Right when I was about to pull the trigger, I heard this voice. Nobody was in my house. There was a 4-bedroom, nobody there, just me. That voice clearly said no. I put the gun down, I looked around. I started looking around, like, oh. So I started walking the house with the gun. Now I'm scared, I was in my house. Started walking around every room, checking it out. Nobody there. We didn't even have dogs. So I put the gun down, that put a little fear in my heart. No. So I left it alone. We split up about a year. I went my way, she went her way. She went through probably so many dudes I don't know. I forgave her again. That's how madly in love I was. I forgave her for the 5th time. So this time, when I finally caught her with somebody else in the vehicle, when I had told God, God, show me this woman's not good for me, Lord. Show me, Lord. You have to be very careful what you ask the Lord, because He will reveal it to you, or show it to you, or give it to you. About 5 minutes later, I'm in the parking lot. But before that, about a week ago before that, I remember I found her where she lived at. I had an AK-47. I parked at a parking lot that was a wooden fence. Her apartment was on the other side. So I got the scope I'm looking at. Her boyfriend was walking in the apartment. I said, I'm fixing to get him right now. I got him on lock. As soon as I was about to pull that trigger, her daughter walks right by. Then if I would have pulled that trigger, her daughter would have got hit by that bullet. I put the gun down. I started crying to God. I said, God, that's when I started, thinking about things. Why am I doing it? This ain't me. It's just a woman. So then again, I would go by her house, her apartment. That's when I asked the Lord, Lord, show me this woman ain't good for me. 5 minutes later, she passes by with that same dude and another guy in the apartment. Got confirmation. Finally, I got fed up with it. I was already seeking the Lord at the time, because something in my heart was telling me, seek the Lord, seek the Lord, seek the Lord. Which my parents always taught me that. God's always there with you. So I did. I started seeking the Lord. I started going to church more and more and more and more and more and more. She would come over and visit me when I was seeking the Lord. She would call me all kinds of names. You're a hypocrite, fake Christian, all kind of foul language you can find in them books. She threw them at me. Trying to pick a fight to lock me up, to lock me up, to lock me up. Finally, she did lock me up one time. It was like a little terror threat over the phone. I was driving big trucks. I've been driving big trucks. They pulled me over in Galveston right there by the horse track just to do a random check on the truck. They told me, Miss De La Rosa, what's your social security? They never asked for social security. They only your driver's license. I already knew something was wrong. I said, something wrong, officer? He goes, no, you're good. My mom like, yeah, you lying. I never asked for social security numbers. Then he told me to step out the truck. By that time, another cop car pulls up. I even told the officer, I know there's something wrong. You don't have to lie to me. I'm not going to give you a hard time. He said, well, you're a big man. I just thought you probably wrestled me or something, because he was small, Yeah, back then I was weighing like 275, I was a lot heavier. And he said, did you beat up a cop? You got some kind of problem with the cop? I said, officer, if I had a problem with the cop, I won't be out here right now. He said, no, well, you got some kind of warrant for your arrest. I said, well, okay, cool. I turned around, just put my hands behind my back. He goes, well, what are you doing? I said, well, you're not going to arrest me? He goes, yeah. I said, well, I told you I'm not going to give you a hard time. So I started putting my hands behind my back. He handcuffed me, and he started telling me what happened. I said, well, the only thing that can happen is me and my wife. We've been split up. She's been battling with me, trying to pick a fight, trying to lock me up. And She put charges on me that I was calling her, threatening her over the phone. I was gonna kill her. That's all it was. It was a misdemeanor case. He was so cool with me. He told me to sit in the front seat with him. He was driving a Tahoe. He said, "You ain't gonna grab my shotgun, are you?" I said, "Well, not with my hands behind my back. I'm gonna do that." He was, "Nah, I'm just playing with you." I said, "Oh." We started smiling, you know, kicking in. He said, "Well, what kind of wife you got, man?" I said, "You don't want to know." He said, "Oh, I can tell you already getting locked up for her." I said, "Well, not for her, she's locking me up." So he takes me to the county jail in Galveston. He was, "Man, you know what? You seem like a nice guy." And at that moment, I could see my pattern where when I was seeking God, people were starting to see it in me. He said, "You're a nice guy, man. What are you doing going to jail, this, and that?" You know, he started kind of preaching to me. I said, "At the moment, I don't know what's going on, but, you know, I'm not mad at you. You're doing your job. Do what you got to do so I can hurry up, make bond, get out." Come to think about it, you know, I didn't know who it was at the time, but in the county jail at Galveston, this how nice this trooper was. He wanted to drive me all the way from Galveston to Harris County because that's where I had my warrant. He goes, "Man, I want to take you over there, man, so you can hurry up and get out." My bossman had to come get that truck way out there from Porter all the way to where the dog tracks at by Galveston, right? He's like, "Man, I do want to drive you over there, but it's out of my jurisdiction and all that." I said, "Okay, cool." He locked me up. Went in there. My bossman said, "Use my credit card, bond yourself out," and I did. Went to court, got out. As a matter of fact, she went and picked me up when I got out on bond. I'm like, "Man, I'm figuring to find out who did this to me." You know, because when you go to court, if you have a lawyer, if you were a lawyer as they call it, he will tell you who's the one to lock you up. He's the one to tell you who pressed charges on you and all that. She's like, yeah, you better do it, you know, because that's wrong. They lock you up and you buried this. I mean, it's like always. Lies after lies after lies. Nobody couldn't pick me up at that time, so she was my only choice. Went to court, find out it was her. District attorney tells me, "Who's Wendy De La Rosa?" I said, "That's my wife." We wasn't together no more. She said, "That's the one that's pressing charges on you. You make these phone calls." What? I said, "Okay." They reset my case. I called her up. Said, "Hey, your name's all over the court." For what? I didn't do nothing. What are you talking about? Because you're the one that's locking me up, press charges, this and that. "Oh, no, I'll go to court and testify. I'll go right now." I said, "Well, it's Sunday." "You know how you gonna go on Sunday?" "Oh, I'll go Monday." So I ain't got court till Monday to this day. She said, "Well, I'll go." So all right. I'm thinking, okay, cool, she's gonna go speak for me with her. She never showed up. My lawyer came up to me again. He goes, "Wendy De La Rosa is the one that's giving you a hard time." He goes, "Man, you got a bad criminal history, man." He charged me a good chunk of money because of my criminal history. 3 felonies, 6 misdemeanors I had. He charged me $2,500 just for a misdemeanor. He goes, "Look, this is what they're going to do in court. They're going to try to enhance your background," which I knew that. And then from that misdemeanor, it's going to raise up high to a felony because of the background. He said, "But I'm going to try to get it dismissed." He told me like this, "I think you got a psycho woman on your team." I said, "You're right." So we went to court for about 6 months. I would lose work, you know, showing up to court. She never showed up. She always denied it to this day. They dismissed my case. Praise God they did, because at the time I was seeking the Lord. And when my lawyer came, he goes, "Come here," with this big smile. He goes, "Sign right here." I said, "What's this for?" He goes, "Dismiss. Isn't that what you wanted?" I said, "Yeah." Sign it quick. Goes, gives my copy, gives my paper. He hugs me, goes, "Come here. Get rid of that." I said, "You're right. I'm not with her, right?" So I took his advice, just stopped answering her calls, stayed away from her and everything. At that time, I told the Lord I was fed up with women. She cheated on my back plenty of times, plenty of men. Came home with hickeys on her and denied. That don't mean we did something. I told the Lord, I said, "Lord, you know what? I'm tired of women. I'm tired of getting hurt. I said, I'm just going to seek you and only you, and I don't want no more women in my life. I'm tired of them." That's when My sister Norma, she was going to CLC, that old building on Rankin Road, and I was going to another one on Bayway 8 and 59. My little baby sister goes there. She kept telling me, come to CLC, Tony, you'll like it over there. I said, I'll go one day. I mean, it took about 6 months for her to drag me over there. I really don't like bouncing from church to church, just like my jobs. I don't like doing that either. So I said, one day, I said, well, I'm gonna go check it out. I went over there and visit. And you know what, man, when I walked through them doors, it was one of the moments that I'll never forget in my life. That church gave me a welcome, like, wow, man, like they received me with open arms. I didn't feel no judgment. I didn't feel no people looking at me crazy, like, you know, here comes another one, or a fake one that's gonna come through the doors. 3 weeks later, he's gone, you know. I didn't feel none of that. I felt like I was at home. I felt like that was another family I've been missing right there. So I started going to church there, right? And that's when I was talking to God more and telling him, you know, fed up with these women. And I was hitting the word harder and harder and harder. That's when Pastor Don approached me. It's almost going on 3 years, about 2.5, 3 years since I've been on Pastor Don. And with that day he approached me about the men's meeting and all the stuff, I said, yeah, I'll go. The day I said I'll go, I've been with him ever since then, praise God. But yeah, I went through a bunch of trials and tribulations, as I still going through them. But when I made a commitment to God, that I was going to serve only Him and I wanted Him in my life, when I make that choice to give my heart to Him, and only Him, no more females, no more other human beings, just Him, when I told God that I'm going to put you first, I felt that when God received me, that's who I am.
Yeah.
Probably about 6 months, 4 months going to that church. That's when I met Lizette and her family. They're having a Friday nights meeting too, but it was not just men. There was everybody, females and males, everybody showed up. We started hanging out as friends, her family, and all the guys there, and I started getting acquainted with more people. And that's where the Lord showed me wrong. The Lord proved me wrong, that that's not my choice. It's not what I want. That's what He wants.
Right.
And when He put that in my face, He showed me, this is what I want, this is what you're going to do. He put that beautiful woman, Lizette, that's my fiance, in my life. When I told God I didn't want no more women because I was fed up with it, He put that beautiful woman in my life. We started becoming friends. From friends, I asked her to be my girlfriend 6 months later, and now we're engaged.
Amen.
And now, but before that, when I was going to CLC, I was tired of my life already. I was trying to get out the prison game. That was a major thing at the time. I had told my knowledge at that time, I said, man, you know, I'm done. I don't want to do this no more. They didn't want to let me go because I was an organized crime. If I sent 5 or 10 men, 5 or 10 men are coming home. Most times somebody sent 5 or 12 men, 3 were coming home. Most of them got killed, most of them got locked up, got caught up somehow. They didn't want to let me go. Said I had too much rank. I knew too much about the organization. I didn't want no more. I was tired of hurting people. I was tired of living that lifestyle for the enemy. I had made a choice to live my life for the Lord. I gave Him my heart. Just like I gave my heart and I was loyal to this family in prison, I made the choice to be loyal and give my heart to the Lord.
Amen.
So then at the time, I was going through a lot of problems with them. They were threatening me. They were going to take my life. They want to go look for my family, my parents, my sisters, my nephews, anyone they can get a hold of. They had pictures, they had address. I never had told my sister Norma nothing about my life. Nothing. One day at the CLC on Rankin Road, she just told me out the blues. God said, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. That's what I was going through, that situation. But my carnales at that time, when she told me that, that was confirmation from the Lord saying, don't worry about it, I got this. At that time, they told me, you know what, Tony, we want you to go take a drive. If y'all, the ones that don't know about a drive, when they tell you to take a drive, you get in that car, you're not coming home no more. So my heart started pumping, so all right. We were going to the valley, go take care of some business. One of the canales out there was getting out of hand. It was time, his ticket was pulled. They told me to drive. 2 hitmans with me. I said, sure, I'll drive. I was showing them that I still didn't have no fear. Don't matter if you're trying to take my life. I'm still going to serve God. I'm driving, we're going toward the valley. I told the one that I knew he was trigger happy. I said, you sit right here in the passenger with me. The other one in the back. But I had my best friend with me, 9mm right here with me all the way. I'm driving, holding that gun. Once I seen him make a move, I was going to make a move. Because I didn't know if it was going to be my time yet. Because I was trying to find an exit. We got there, things went the way they were supposed to, planned out. Now I'm thinking, well, they took care of their business. Now I'm probably their next business. So I thought I could sleep on the way home, back to Houston. I told the one that was trigger happy, I said, you drive. The other one got in front. I'm gonna protect myself coming home. I made it home. There's a few members here that prayed for me because I was trying to get out. Pastor Don prayed for me before. Lizette and her brother-in-law, that was not her brother-in-law at the moment, Victor, he's the drummer. He was the one in charge of the class on Friday. One night, I was there a Friday night like I'm here tonight. That's what the time was. I kept telling him I wanted out. You got 5 judges, 5 individuals, as they call it, judges. If you get 3 votes, yes or no, you're in, you're out. I remember I went on a meeting at the table. I sat down. I told him how I felt. I told him I had found the Lord. I want to change my life. One individual, the youngest one, he was barely becoming a sergeant. He said, no, he ain't going nowhere. If he does go, I'm going to be the one that's going to take his life. The others were like, well, man, you know, he wants to be a different man. He's changing his life, man. You know, something when I said about God touched their heart. But that one individual gave me a hard time. And then he got the other one crunk, then the other one. So I had 3 against me, and 2 voted for me like, yeah, just walk away. So when he told me that, I won't be the one to take your life. I looked at him in his eye. I said, Carnal, you know how I am. Come for me, I'm going to take a bunch of y'all with me. He said, all right. And it stayed like that. About a month later, they told me you're going to have another meeting. I said, all right. That's going to be your final judgment, whether you walk away or you don't. I said, all right. At the time, I wasn't worried about it. I had confirmation. That's when Lizette, Victor, and her Friday night crew, they were with me on Friday. I get that phone call like right now. I would get a phone call. And they told me it's time like that. I already knew what it was. I had to go represent myself. I had told Lizette about it. And she was my friend, you know. I had trust in her, and I had told her some things about me, about my past. She goes, well, let's pray for you. I said, I gotta go if I don't come back. You know what happened. She was okay. So Victor prayed for me in a private room, and he told me, you know what, God says everything's gonna be okay. You will come back. I said, okay, brother. I took off. I remember walking in that house. It was a mechanic shop, actually. It built like a house. I walked in, there's 12 of them. So I'm thinking, I'm not coming out them doors no more. It's too many now. Normally there's only 5. Higher rank than I had. One of them told me, you're a captain, man. You're a lieutenant, and you got too much range just to walk away without losing your life. So I'm like, at that time, I'm like, well, you know, I told you I was fed up. I don't put the Lord in my life. That's what I want, the Lord. He's like, well, you know too much. What's going to happen if you walk out them doors next week, you start talking about everything we done? I said, you got my word, brother. I told him, carnal in Spanish, right? You got my word that when I walk out them doors, I won't even remember y'all faces no more. Because that's how bad I wanted to serve God. Again, I had 3 against me, 2 voted yeah, let them walk away. But that one was hard to give in and to let me go. Finally, I got 4 votes. I started praying in my mind in there. I started telling the Lord, let your will be done, Lord. Teach these men that you are real. It started going from one end to another. This one said, I'll let him go. I'll let him go. He can walk. He can walk. This one said, no way. If y'all let him walk, I'm still going to be the one that's going to take his life. So at that time, I'm smiling inside because I already knew God had approached the room. God was there with me. So I said, okay, anything else? They're like, no, you free to go, carnal. So I took off walking, but I never turned my back, and I was like, all right, started walking away from them. When I left that house, I was in my truck in tears, crying like a little baby of joy and happiness, how the Lord was in my presence on my side. At that moment, I knew that there was a purpose for me. I could have died plenty of times in the streets, but when God gave me confirmation that day, when they could have took my life for being what I used to be, I said, Lord, there's something out there for me. This day, I still struggle through some things as a man. You know, attitude. You know, people disrespect me in kind of ways, and I try to approach them the best way I can, but sometimes the world's too fast for us. So I do struggle with some things, but I don't get violent. I'll pray about it. I drive an 18-wheeler, which I have a Bible in there, and I have a Bible at home. So when the enemy tries to approach me in a lot of ways, I catch myself, I go back to my truck, and I read my Bible. Back then, if anybody would disrespect me, it would be a gun. If I was in prison, it would be a chain. Or I put a hit out on you because of the power I had. But now, the only power I have is the power of Jesus that lives in me. And I will spread it out for the ones that don't know Jesus. Before I close this testimony to y'all, there's a verse on the Bible, it says John 10:9 on the New King James Version. It says, I am the door. By me, if any man enter in, he shall save and shall go in and out and find pasture. In that scripture, he wasn't saying any preacher, any Catholic, or any person. He said, any man. Brothers, that means a businessman, a working man, a single man, an old man, a mailman, the dope man, a policeman can enter the gates of heaven when you dedicate your heart to God. And that's my testimony for you, and I'll close that with that.
Amen.